it's Melissa. Happy Thursday. Today I'm going to show you how to sublimate on wood, directly on wood, just like this. So this is a sublimation design that I printed out and put directly on this piece of wood. It's actually a wood canvas. So I'm going to show you the trick to that. Now, if you're interested, I have listed up top links to everything. My sublimation printer, my heat press, the design for this, where this was found, it's in the September bundle on FONTSY. And then also the secret to all of this, which is sublimation spray. Okay, so this sublimation spray, we've done this before, we've used this before on, I think we did it on towels, some kind of textile fabric, but it says on here that this sublimation spray is for t-shirts, pillows, canvas, cotton fabric, and polyester fabric. It does not list wood, okay, but that doesn't stop me. So I did a bunch of testing, and this is something, the only reason I'm pointing this out is because people ask me all the time, will this work? Will that work? It's like, you know what? I don't know, but it's worth a try maybe, right? So typically what I do before I just go for it is I do a little sample. So in this case, what I did was I made some samples. You can see this clearly did not work. Okay, there's a whole bunch of white residue around there. So then I changed my options a little bit and I tried it again. Better, still not great. Then I tried again. Yeah, this one worked. And same thing over here. Okay, so the key here is to adjust one thing at a time. When you're looking to figure out, is this going to work? And I think outside the box, will this, whatever it is, whatever this is, just change one thing at a time. So I can tell you what I did is, the first time that I did this, I did two coats of the sublimation spray. And then I did firm pressure for 60 seconds at 400 degrees. Clearly too much pressure, okay? So I backed off on the pressure and I did it again. But what I saw is that I still had some white residue from my sublimation paper. So in that case, then I went down and I just did one coating. Okay, when I did one coating, I had a much, much better result. Okay, and I also adjusted to medium pressure. All right, so that's my helpful hint there on how to kind of test out. And then when you actually go and do your big project, your risk is much lower than it would be had I, done my settings that I did here on here, okay? All right, so let's talk sublimating on wood. I already printed my whole sublimation print. Actually, I printed 5 different designs. I'm only gonna use this one at the top. It is obviously printed backwards. I print on a sub paper on my SG 400, which is the older model Sawgrass sublimation printer. The current model at this size, 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14, is the SG 500, which I linked to up top because the one I have is discontinued. Okay, so you're gonna print, all right, on sublimation paper. So we're gonna pick it up from there because my sublimation printer is on the other side. Then I'm going to have my heat press warmed up to 400 degrees, okay? So mine's already warmed up. You can do this. So these thinner pieces would be fine on a clamshell heat press, but because this canvas is thick, this is probably a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch thick, it's really nice to be able to do a swing away because the pressure, the top platen comes straight down, which is what you want. If you have a clamshell, it gets kind of caught and then you don't get full pressure, okay? So while that's warming up, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your board, okay? And you're gonna spray one light coat. Don't do too much. That was, again, one of the mistakes that I had with this. Okay, so you wanna back off. You're just gonna spray directly on, okay? Light coat, all right? And then you're gonna put this, just like it is here, in the heat press. Now, because you can't see it, remember which side has the spray, okay? So we'll put this in to our heat press, and I'm gonna cover it with a piece of craft paper, okay? Now, I'm using the same craft paper that I've used for a bunch, so just make sure that you don't have any residue on there. 30 seconds, okay? Now watch. This is medium pressure. Medium pressure means I can push it down. There's some resistance, but it's not like, okay? Light pressure is like this. Medium pressure is like this, and heavy firm pressure is right? Okay, so just evaluate how you're and that will be the pressure of your heat press. Okay? All right, and obviously you need to adjust depending on the thickness of your wood. Okay? All right, so now I'm just going to be able to take my print, and this one I'll obviously trim off. Okay? Okay, so that was 30 seconds on 400. This is just after I put the spray on, okay? So I know my spray, where did I put my spray? Is down this side, okay? The bottom part here, all right? Someone's asking, what is the spray you're using? I linked to it up top. It's just it's called Sublimation Coating Spray, okay? It's from Amazon. I linked to it up top. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, pull you down here a little bit, is I'm gonna take my sublimation print, okay? I'm gonna trim off as much of the white space as I can, just for a couple of things. Because this design is basically sized to fit exactly on my board, I wanna make sure that I have it placed in the center. And if I trim close to the edge, then I'll know it's pretty much even on both sides, okay? The other thing is, if any white residue is left behind, I will have less chance of it because I have less white. Now, one thing that is helpful, because this is hot when it comes out, is to fold back a corner, okay? So if you fold back a corner of your print like this, once it's on your board, after you heat press, you can use this little tab to quickly peel up instead of trying to pick with your finger, because you want to work quickly with this, okay? All right, so now all you're gonna do is place your design directly on your board. Again, in the area where you did your sublimation print. I mean, you can kind of feel it. This is a little bit more smooth. This feels a little bit more rough. That's where I have the spray, all right? I'm gonna put this on here, and I'm gonna put this back in my heat press. Again, still medium pressure. And I'm gonna cover it, again, with my craft paper. Make sure my tab is back. Okay. Now, the reason that I like sublimating with this design specifically is because, hold on. Okay, so I've been loving painting, but you can see this is just all like solid colors. So that's really hard to paint when you have something like this where it's like this plaid. So this is where it's great to use sublimation, or you can actually use printable heat transfer. If you guys, about this time last year, I think I did a tutorial video on how to use Starcraft's printable heat transfer on wood. It comes out very similar to this, but you don't need to coat it. Okay, so now we need to work pretty quickly. We'll take that tab, whoops, oh boy. Oh shoot, we didn't get a solid, this one didn't turn out quite as well. You can see it turned out, but I obviously lost a little bit of pressure, or I didn't have enough spray. Okay, this is the one I just did. This is this one. Let's try one more time. So I have a couple of other pieces here, and we'll do these to see. Now for this, I'm gonna need to adjust the pressure on my heat press, because this pressure setting is set up obviously for something that's much thicker than this. All right, so I like to put it in here first. That's way too easy. That's like light pressure. You don't want to do too much, because that's where you get the pieces sticking behind. Okay, so let's spray this. Okay, we'll put this one in there, 30 seconds, cover it. Place it, if you can, in the middle of your heat press. Okay, I'm gonna cover this for 30 seconds, and while this is going, we will use one of these other prints that I printed off, okay? So this is why I like to print extras, because you never know. All right, so I don't know which one we'll use, but we'll take a pick here. We'll just use this one. It says peace, love, and pumpkin spice. Who's a pumpkin spice fan? I'm like it's okay. I'll drink it, but Now this one, I know I covered the whole thing with the print. I mean, with the spray. Now I'm just gonna put this down here by the bottom, okay? Put this back in. Oops, make sure it's on there. It's hot, okay? And I'll cover it. 30 seconds. Okay, so, oops. So if you're just joining, we are doing sublimation on wood using Sublimation Spray. Now coming up, I don't know exactly what the day is. It's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I have another tutorial on how to sublimate on wood using laminate sheets. Okay, so that's another option for you. That option does not require the Sublimation Spray, just so you know. Okay, all right, so here we're working through another, oopsie. Okay. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Okay, see that? So, if you are interested in the sublimation spray, it works really well on wood, even though it doesn't say on the bottle that you can use it for wood. However, you can. Now, I actually like it better for the wood than I do on shirts and whatnot, because what I found is when you wash it, and you guys, we did a whole tutorial on this, and I think I did a review, it fades pretty quickly in the wash. However, you're not putting this through the wash. You're not going to put any, these things are not going to be washed, really. They're not even going to be handled. So they're only decor, so that makes this a really good option for sublimating on wood, okay? All right, guys, I will go through and answer any questions. Big things are you want your heat press on 400 degrees, 1 coating of this sublimation spray on your wood, medium pressure. You're gonna press for 30 seconds to set this, okay? Then you're gonna put your sublimation print on the wood and press for another 30 seconds, and ta-da! You have sublimated on wood. Okay? All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Thursday.